Hello everybody, and welcome back to Let's Play Gabriel Knight, the 20th Anniversary Edition. Just take a look at this guy. Last time we did talk to Madame Casino, and she does know quite a bit about Voodoo. But she knows a bit more about Caprice Sancor, but will not divulge that information to us until we actually know what the word means. Interesting. So, anyway, let's...
I'm not going back on the street looking like this.
Yeah, luckily he changes. You do not need him walking around like that. So let's go back to Jackson Square. Let's see how that artist is doing on our sketch. Shouldn't have taken too long. It was pretty simple. So let's see. Got that guy drumming away again. Don't know if he's really going to the rhythm. It kind of sounds like it sometimes, then it doesn't. I don't know. Anyway, what's up, bro? What's up, brah?
How's it going today?
What? Oh, it's only you. Man, I have been jumpy all day. That pattern of yours really freaked me out for some reason. There's just something creepy.
You finished it?
Yeah, and you're welcome to it. Here.
Wow, this is great.
Uh-huh, yeah, just don't, like, blow up the planet with it or something, okay?
I didn't mean to upset you.
Ah, forget it. I'm probably just being stupid. Do your thing with it, and, good luck.
Oh, I'm sure you're being jumpy for absolutely no reason. Anyway, let's actually take a look at that.
The artist's reconstruction of the Voodoo murders pattern looks accurate to Gabriel. Something about it seems vaguely familiar and creepy.
Okay.
The reconstructed Veve was done for Gabriel by a technical artist.
Veve, what's that? We haven't learned that word yet. But we will in this episode, trust me. Alright, and once you learn what a Veve is, we'll maybe come to understand what this is more. So if you remember, it was a couple episodes back, I think, we read in the newspaper that there's actually a conference going on about ancient African religions going on at Tulane University, the same place where Laura Bow herself studied.
It looks like the lecture is just starting.
Ooh, just in time.
Voodoo is the tribal religion of Africa, but the name Voodoo is actually a banner heading, under which resides an entire body of distinct tribal belief systems. The word Voodoo may sound familiar to you. What is known in the States as Voodoo is actually an amalgamation of African religious systems, Voodoo, and European religions, primarily Catholicism. All of these subcults of African Voodoo have certain things in common. The most important is the worship of a pantheon of spirits, instead of the single deity that the Christian and Muslim systems have. Some of these spirits are elementals. Some relate to specific tasks or places. Some represent important tribal leaders who have died. This spirit worship is what makes Voodoo so easily adaptable. With all these spirits, it's no problem to add a few more. Say, for example, the Virgin Mary. At the height of tribal Africa, warfare was common. One tribe would conquer another, and the Loa, important in the conqueror's tribal system, would be adopted readily into the conquered tribe's Loa pantheon. In this way, many of the Voodoo cults spread and mingled throughout tribal Africa, enriching the belief system and causing innumerable offshoots. The basis for the Voodoo religion seems to be as old as man himself. It has much in common with many early pagan practices. Animal totems, sympathetic magic, elemental spirits in the trees, the heavens, the bodies of the sick. Africa is believed by many to be the cradle of the human race. Some of the Voodoo Loa may be as old as the Garden of Eden itself. We still can't explain some of the real power of these primal religions. And note, I said primal, not primitive. There are African Bokors who baffle our scientists with their supernatural powers. Now, let's discuss the elements of Voodoo.
Fascinating guy.
In Voodoo, the spirits are called the Loa. During a Voodoo ceremony, celebrants are possessed by the Loa. This is called being ridden. The human worshipper is seen as a horse, and the Loa as the divine horseman. A person being ridden by a Loa takes on the characteristics of that spirit, and becomes, in effect, merely a vessel for the more powerful entity. Some of the older original Africa Loa include Dambala, the great serpent god, Ezuli, the mistress of love, Papanibo, or Gede, the lord of death, Awe, the spirit of water, Legba, spirit of the crossroads, and the cruelest and most dangerous, Ogun Badagri, the lord of destruction.
I gotta get more sleep at night.
Tribe-specific Loa can have as much or more power as the more widely worshipped Loa. For instance, a particular tribe might revere highly the Loa of an ancestor who was a legendary hunter or politician. Voodoo temples are called Houndfors. Their priests, Houngan or Bokors, their priestesses, Mama Loa. In a Voodoo Houndfor, there's a ritual circle marked by a center pole called a Hoto Meton. During ritual conclaves, initiates dance under the supervision of a Bokor and a Mama Loa, or head priestess. The use of totems or animal masks and markings was not uncommon in the original African ceremonies. Now, though, all but the oldest sects have abandoned this practice. Ritual objects used during the conclaves included the ritual gourd, or asan, the ritual knife, or kubasa,
That knife gives me the chills.
the ritual whip, or fouetcache, and the ritual coffin, or seke madule. These items are often optional, called for by the Mama Loa for specific magical rituals. The Mama Loa is the most powerful figure in any Voodoo sect. Voodoo is a truly matriarchal system. Even the Bokor knows his power is limited. The Mama Loa is the supreme woman. She goes out of her house at night, sees many things, and tries to get butterflies, and at night again she sees these things, including fireflies.
Oh, Gabriel.
Firelight. Gabriel?
What? Can't see.
Gabriel, get in.
Can't. It's too small for me.
You must get in, Gabriel.
It's not mine. Too small.
Hide, Gabriel, hide.
No! Let me out! Help!
Young man, the lecture is over.
Oh my god. Sorry.
That's awkward. So the professor's still there, luckily. We kind of fell asleep there, but hopefully we got enough information. That was a lot to swallow in just a couple minutes.
The podium. Hartridge's throne.
Yeah, if we wanted to do a book about voodoo, that's gonna be very helpful.
A projection screen dominates the front of the hall.
Remember, this game is about solving a murder. Remember, our goal is to write a book, nothing else. Anyway,
Dr. Hartridge is sharp-eyed and even sharper-tongued. When he condescends to look at Gabriel at all, it is with a dismissive glare.
well, Gabriel did kind of fall asleep and snore during his lecture, so can't really blame him.
Are you a student?
No. My name is Knight. Gabriel Knight.
Well, you've already interrupted and slept through my lecture, Mr. Knight. I hope you have something worthwhile to do here. If you figure it out, let me know.
We do have something worthwhile. Let's exhaust all these options.
What can you tell me about voodoo?
You already sat through my lecture on the subject, Mr. Knight. Perhaps next time you could stay awake and learn something.
All right.
What do you know about the voodoo murders?
I've read about them in the papers. I must admit to some interest. But according to the newspapers, the voodoo aspect is faked, so I haven't really pursued it. You know how Americans, especially Hollywood, treat voodoo. I'm sure there are many so-called practitioners out there that have no idea what they're doing or the power they're playing with.
Indeed.
What can you tell me about New Orleans?
I find it interesting to see the occasional fragment of voodoo practices in the everyday culture of New Orleans.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
The Catholic Church has always dominated in New Orleans, and its imagery, in turn, has dominated New Orleans voodoo.
What else can you tell me about New Orleans?
If there's more you wish to know, perhaps you should read my books.
Not a bad idea. Gabriel likes books.
Do you know anything about snakes?
I'm not a zoologist, Mr. Knight, but I know all I care to about reptiles.
Well, you should know that they're involved in voodoo, so you could at least mention that. But oh well.
What can you tell me about St. John's Eve?
It's June 23rd, the feast day of St. John the Baptist. But June 23rd has been a sacred day since the earliest times. Ancient sun worshippers used to roll a flaming wheel down a hill to celebrate the sun's descent on that day.
A burning wheel. Huh.
That's interesting.
Do you know what Capri Sanko means?
Cabri Sancourt? Yes, I do. It's a Haitian term, I believe. It's French, and literally translates as goat without horns.
As in a female goat?
No, as in a human sacrifice. Sacrifices in voodoo are usually of the animal variety. Chickens, bulls, goats. If the gods demand a goat without horns, it means a human being.
So yeah, this has been the most useful guy in the entire game so far. And we've only been talking to him for like 5 minutes. So Capri Sancourt, go without horns. So when we go back to Madame Casino, we'll know how to answer her.
Do you know anything about Marie Laveau?
While I find the colloquial bastardizations of voodoo somewhat interesting, from a sheerly intellectual point of view, there's not a lot of relation between people like Laveau and true voodoo practices.
So yeah, he's more of a student of the very native voodoo practices and not the kind that came here.
Do you know anything about animal masks?
As I said in my lecture, which I assume you actually listened to, is that animal masks, totems, are used extensively in most African voodoo religions.
Interesting. And he didn't mention Veves really in his lecture, but there was a picture of a Veve with it labeled.
Do you know anything about Veves?
If you'd taken notes during my lecture, you wouldn't have to ask.
Oh, well, okay.
Tell me about Damballa.
Damballa is one of the major Rada Loa, also known as Damballa Wedo. He is an ancient Dahomian rain god, often represented as a large boa constrictor. Damballa is the most powerful and most violent of the Rada Loa. The Rada Loa are typically benevolent, as opposed, say, to the Patro Loa. He is still worshipped heavily in Haiti, and when voodoo first started in New Orleans, the early conclaves were reportedly based on the worship of the great zombie, the great serpent, Damballa.
Wow, this is really interesting stuff. I know the same stuff is in the first Gabriel Knight, but it's cool to be reminded of this stuff.
Tell me more about Damballa.
I have extensive courses in the Loa running next semester. Perhaps you should take one of those, Mr. Knight.
I'd love to sit down on those lectures.
Tell me about Ogun Badagri.
Ogun Badagri is one of the Patro Loa. The Patro Loa are much more violent than the Rada Loa. Some people believe the Patro Loa originated in Haiti, but I have found some evidence that the Patro Loa were African as well, though worshipped only by a small voodoo tribe, and a very bloody one.
Interesting.
Tell me more about Ogun Badagri.
He is a chief nasty, Mr. Knight. He is the spirit of war and destruction.
Chief Nasty. That's awesome. That's gonna be my rap name, Chief Nasty.
Tell me about yourself.
All right, Mr. Knight. I'm 35, a fully tenured professor at this university, as well as a fellow at Cambridge. My doctorate was obtained at Syracuse. Yes, Syracuse, in religious studies. I'm an agnostic, but I find human belief systems fascinating. I specialize in African religions because I grew up there. My father was a Protestant missionary. And I am heterosexual, when I practice sex at all, which isn't very often. Any other questions?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Fine.
Why did you have to clarify that? Are you getting some vibes from Gabriel? Anyway, 35 and already a tenured professor. That is impressive.
I'd really like to know more about you.
There have been several articles written about me, Mr. Knight, as well as blurbs on my book jackets. If you want a biography, read.
Yeah, like what this guy's doing, it is my goal. Of course, I'm going to be focused more on American literature.
Your lecture was terrific.
Oh, you think so? You were snoring so loud, I didn't think you'd heard it.
Sorry, just haven't been getting much sleep.
You must travel a lot.
Yes, to Africa mainly.
I'm very interested in voodoo myself right now.
How nice from you.
Okay, nice little dismissal there.
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
It's very rare. Most voodoo practices do not include human sacrifice as a matter of record, but it is theoretically possible, if that's what the gods demand. For example, one of the chants I had translated for me from a Haitian ritual went like this. Mistress Ezuli, come and aid us. If a cock is demanded, we will give it. If a bull will suffice, behold it. But if a goat without horns is required for sacrifice, oh, where will we find one? Ezuli is the gentlest of Loire, so they call on her for mercy. But I have seen grown and powerful Houngan tremble before a possession by one of the more violent Loire, such as Papa Nebo. Clearly, they are afraid that something of the sort will be ordered, or that Loire will simply take it for themselves.
Interesting. Do you believe that these rituals are legit? That these, oh, what is it called? I was gonna say hound force, but that's not right. That these spirits exist?
Tell me more about human sacrifice.
I wouldn't dwell on it. Most voodoo sects probably haven't seen a human sacrifice for several generations.
Alright. We do have other things we can have him take a look at.
Can you tell me anything about this?
Wow. Interesting. Very interesting. Mind if I copy this?
Be my guest.
Great. I'll be right back. Here you go. You know, this is a fascinating veve. You must tell me all about its origin.
Actually, I was hoping you'd tell me. Can you figure out anything about it from the symbols?
Well, some. That's why I wanted a copy. I want to research the design myself.
Have you heard of the voodoo murders?
No. You're kidding. Really? Then the voodoo is authentic. The newspapers are wrong. Boy, are they wrong.
You think this veve is authentic?
Authentic? Mr. Knight, that's like asking if the Mona Lisa is a painting. Tell you what, I'll look into these symbols myself and see what I can learn about the sect that made this. I'll give you a call when I have more information. You are associated with the police, aren't you?
Absolutely. But I'm undercover. You can contact me at St. George's Bookshop in the quarter.
All right. Now, I'd like to get started on this, if you don't mind.
But I do have more for you. This guy does seem like a nice, impressionable guy, even if he's a bit haughty at times. But one more thing. Let's have him take a look at the murder photo.
Is there anything you can tell me about the voodoo aspects of this photograph?
This is a serious voodoo ritual. Nasty stuff.
In what way?
Let's see. I can't make out much detail from this photograph, except for the corpse, of course, but the wound, the face, and what little I can see of the ritual paraphernalia, it reminds me of certain black voodoo practices. Very rare. I've never witnessed them myself, you understand.
Really? Interesting. Thanks.
Alright. So hopefully he'll get back to us with that bebe stuff.
The door to Hartridge's office is locked.
In the original game, you actually talk to him in his office. And outside in this area, there's like a little bulletin board that had a thing about Laura Bow being a teacher here.
I'll see you later.
Goodbye.
Too bad they didn't include that in this remake. Oh well. Anyway, believe it or not, we actually want to go back to Jackson Square. Because something new is going to be happening here. So let's check it out. So if we go here, check this out. Madame Lorelei.
Madame Lorelei, the fortune teller, is garbed in a belly dancer's outfit and wears a boa around her neck. A real boa.
Interesting.
Madame Lorelei seems less approachable when she's behind that booth.
Alright.
Madame Lorelei, is it?
What can I do for you, handsome?
How's business?
How's business? I have no time for such dull conversation, darling.
How about a reading?
The prices are listed on the sign.
They seem a little steep.
Well, I sometimes do my intimate friends for nothing, but I am a businesswoman.
I'm sure you are.
Fair enough.
That's a nice snake you have there.
Oh, I could say the same of you.
Well, I know where I got mine. Where'd you get yours?
That's personal.
I'd really like to know more about that snake.
Oh, sorry, sweetie, but I don't discuss Elvis with anyone.
Oh, nothing.
Well, then move aside, sweetie, but stay where I can look at you, okay?
Okay. Looks like she's rather enamored with us. But, after doing that, she gets up.
Come on, boys, hoopla!
Alright.
Thanks, boys.
Maybe we should have done something there. Darn, alright. Let's exit, re-enter, and try again. So, hope that's good enough.
Madame Lorelei, is it?
What can I do?
Oh, nothing.
Well, then move aside.
Alright. And hopefully... No? Oh, there we go. Okay.
Come on, boys, hoopla!
Not a bad.
Alright. So let's do some dancing with her.
Baby, I love the way you move.
Madame Lorelei winks knowingly at Gabriel and twitches her hips.
Yep.
Gotta say, belly
She
dancing...
wants me.
belly dancing is pretty sexy.
Thanks, boys.
And she drops her veil here.
It's a silken veil.
So let's grab that. But before we give it back to
The
her...
veil belongs to the fortune teller. It's covered with shiny, iridescent sequins.
Alright.
Gabriel examines the veil with the magnifying glass. The fortune teller's veil is studded with sequins. The sequins look a little strange. Why, it's a snake scale.
A snake scale? Maybe it's just like the one we found at the river. So,
There's a snake scale caught on the veil. Gabriel carefully uses the tweezers to remove the snake scale from the veil.
okay, interesting. So let's compare it to the one we found before. Let's see, how do I... how do I do this? Let's see. Oh, there we
The
go. So let's try
iridescent
that.
scale is hued olive green. It doesn't seem to match the scale from Lake Pontchartrain.
Okay, that's what I wanted to do. There we go. So, whatever snake that is, it's not the same kind of snake used in that voodoo ritual. So we can at least be confident in that. So let's get that scale back in the... not the scale, the veil back in the inventory.
I think this veil belongs to you.
Oh, my veil! I'm always losing those things. You have no idea. Well, darling, you're such a sweetie to return a lady's delicates, and so handsome as well.
Well,
And since you have such a clear interest in fortune-telling, let me see your hands. They look so strong. Perhaps they will make both our fortunes clear, no?
I wish something would.
Strong, yes, and yet so delicate and flexible.
You don't know the half of it.
Oh, good. I see a mysterious woman in your immediate future.
Madame Lorelei winks at Gabriel knowingly.
She is a dangerous one, dark and beautiful. Oh, I see the road of your life forking, and very soon.
The blood drains from Madame Lorelei's face in an instant. Sweat beads on her upper lip.
Are you okay?
There are forces. Oh God, beware! Beware!
What is it about me lately?
That was unusual. But okay. That was a very interesting experience. Anyway, now that we know what Caprice Sancoa means, what more can we find out about it? You'll just have to find out next time on Let's Play Gabriel Knight, the 20th Anniversary Edition. Thank you for watching and have a good day.